Okay. Hello, guys and gals, and welcome. Skylar Dama here. And today we're just going to briefly go over how to prepare for Rise of Iron. Now, a lot of other people have gone over this. Um, Certainly, a lot of people have gone over. Some have gone very in depth, others not so much. I'm going to give you, my best attempt at a combination of the two. We're gonna give some detail, but we're not gonna bore you to death here. We're gonna tell you what you need to know. So for Rise of Iron, uh, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to stock up on as many legendary marks as you can. So obviously you're gonna want to get this to 200. The day before essentially. Um, but you're gonna want to go beyond that. You're gonna want to be able to have even more in stock because the idea is the vendors are gonna get a whole new set of gear, presumably, and presumably that light level of that gear is going to be higher than our current light level. Um, if what I saw is correct, I believe it's going to be around 360 light. So, what you're going to want to do is you're going to have your 200 legendary marks. Hopefully you have these trials bounties on as many characters as possible. So the max you're going to get out of this is 50 each. If you have 3 characters, that's 150 extra legendary marks plus your 200 that you're going to be holding. So that's going to be 350 max. I did the math. If you buy every single thing, a weapon, all 3 weapons, the ghost, class item, and all the armor pieces, if you buy all of that for one character at the current vendor prices, that amounts to 945 legendary marks. So out of the 350 you already have, that means you need another 595. Now that's a lot of legendary marks. However, luckily, most of the legendary items, when you dismantle them, they'll give you at least 3 legendary marks, up to 5 if you have it maxed out already. So at that rate, you'll need approximately 200 or so items that are legendary, maybe a little less, maybe around 180 if you have some that are leveled up. Um, and that sounds like a lot of items, but really it's quite doable. If you've been playing a lot and you still have a bunch of gear, stuff that you've just been kind of collecting, and you never really saw a need to dismantle it, um, then you should be all set. I basically found that I was close to set already. But you can, if you're not there just yet, you should go grind some strikes. Do stuff like that. You can fill up your vault with some legendaries, and you should be good to go. Another thing is, if you have any legendary engrams or exotic engrams, you're going to want to hold on to those. Those give you a lot of rep when you decode them, and there's a chance that they'll decode at the higher light that will come with Rise of Iron. So you're going to want to hold on to those as well. Um, Obviously, you should stock up on materials because we're going to be leveling up new gear, presumably. You could infuse into all your old gear, but there's going to be some new stuff that's going to be good. I heard the Dead Orbit shotgun is going to be really amazing. So obviously you're going to want to buy that and probably upgrade it to max. If you have any radiant energies, things like that, things that you can convert to motes or glimmer, you should hold on to those. Wait until everything's said and done, and you decide what do you need more, motes or glimmer, and then at that point you can change them and get what you need. Any of these things like network keys and stuff like that, if you grind out strikes, if you get any of these, hold on to them. Um, you're going to want to go into Taken King with Max Glimmer, and these will give you the ability to go even beyond that. You can use your Glimmer then to spend, buy heavy synths if you need them, or just to get your upgrades and things like that, weapon parts, all that sort of thing. Heavy synths. Everyone knows this, but you're going to want to stock up on as many of these as you can. 100 gives you one rank up in your faction, Dead Orbit, etc. Those kind of, factions. So every one of these represents a rank up, which is obviously going to be huge. It's going to be very crucial to, once you've bought your entire set of vendor gear, you're going to want to do that first. That's the first thing you're going to want to do when Rise of Iron comes out. Then once you have that higher light level, then you start upgrading, your factions and all those sort of things using heavy synth and other means. So then you get the highest light possible from your gear, which in turn means the highest, beginning light level as soon as Rise of Iron comes out. You can then infuse that gear into other characters as you start progressing, so you can get all of them up really fast. Obviously, you're going to want to have some motes of light, so you can, just max out new gear and weapons immediately. Um, if you don't already know this, pretty much everyone knows this, but if you don't, that's totally fine. Use strange coins when Xur shows up. You trade him 1 for 3 heavy synths. This is the most efficient and cost-effective way to get heavy synths, and thus is the cheapest way to buy your free, faction package rank ups. Outside of that, you're going to want to start edging all of your factions and things if you haven't done that already. Gunsmith is supposed to be getting new gear with the new DLC, so you're going to want to get him edged out. I went through the extra work of getting Crota's Bane maxed. You may not really need to do that. Same for House Judgment. House Judgment probably has a higher chance of being relevant than Eris. But, you don't have to do those, but they're pretty easy. Once you get them there, the chances of you accidentally going over isn't really that high. Cryptarch, same thing. You're going to want to get it maxed, basically, right on the edge. And you're going to want to just hold on to all of your engrams, especially legendaries and exotics. If you run out of space, because I actually ran out of space in my post-mastering characters, I went through an entire, couple of ranks of Cryptarch by just opening blues, and I held on to the legendaries and exotics. My Vanguard, you're going to want to get all these edged out. You're not going to be able to do it probably at first, just because from playing, you're going to go over these. Like my Vanguard here, there's a very good chance I'll just go over this and end up edging it again. But once, you're a day or two away, just get everything edged, and then just, it's going to be hard if you play Destiny a lot like I do. You really love this game. But you're going to have to just, hold back and just hold off until after the DLC comes out. Now, something I want to point out about edging factions. Currently, let's say here, I'm with New Monarchy. If you get this faction edged out, what you can do is you can then go switch allegiances to, let's say, Future War Cult, and then start edging out Future War Cult. And what happens is the factions actually remember how close you were to the next rank up. So when the DLC comes out, I could, get some rep, get a package for Future War Cult, then immediately switch back to New Monarchy because it'll be a new week. You can get these once a week. You can change these once a week. And then my New Monarchy will also be right at the cusp of leveling up. So then I can start turning in heavy synths for New Monarchy, and then I'll immediately have a package from them without having to waste a bunch of heavy synth. You can do this for all 3 factions. If you do it right now, you have just enough time. I'm doing this video on a Sunday, so you would have 2 days to switch to get one faction edged and then switch it. But you have just enough time if you start right now that you can get all 3 edged out. You really don't need to do all 3. You really only need to do 2 of them because you're not gonna be able to switch between all 3 that fast on the the first week of Rise of Iron. If you can get all 3, obviously that's the best case scenario. But getting just 2 of them is definitely good enough. And then it also gives you the flexibility to decide which faction's gear do you really want to have the most packages from and whatnot. Once you've got, you could run around the tower before you buy anything and see what everything looks like. That's pretty much it. Those are the important things that you're going to need to do to prepare for Rise of Iron. Apart from that, obviously, if you're into PvP, which is a large part of what I'm into, then you're going to want to, test out the meta right now. Obviously, we had that huge weapons update, so things are going to be different. So if you haven't done that already, I advise doing that, just to get a feel for things. And also, I feel like, I don't know what I did with these stats here, that they're suddenly all off. Oh, it's my intellect. What did I do? Guys, I have no idea what I did to my stats. I ruined them. They're awful. It's so sad. I must have equipped something. Super weird. Oh, it's this, I think, right? That's already better. It's gotta be something. I don't know. I'll fix this later. I'm so sorry. Alright. I had tier 12 stats. That was the thing I wanted to say, is if you have tier 12 stats on your stuff, you're gonna want to infuse. You're gonna want to infuse into that gear to, bring it forward into year 3. It will still remain with the, ideal best stats as far as I know. Anything that's already tier 12 stats now should continue to be superior moving forward. So infusing that kind of stuff is obviously going to be good. That's pretty much it. If you do the things that I said here, obviously there's other stuff you can do. You can start doing raids to get more of those radiant materials, ascendant materials. Hold on to those as well. There's other things you can do to get prepared, but this is the main things. So that's it from me. Sorry if this ended up being a little longer than you might care for. I might cut down on it. I don't know yet. But thanks for tuning in. This has been Skylar Dama, and hopefully I see you all when Rise of Iron comes out. I will be streaming it the moment it drops. I will be streaming Rise of Iron. So feel free to drop by. If you don't know my Twitch, it should be in the description. Follow me on Twitter. I put all my updates there of when I'm making new videos, when I'm streaming, all that sort of thing. And I will catch you in Destiny.